Hello, here are the Adams Central FFA chapter. My name is Devin Lauder.
I'm Connor Swartz.
I'm Ivy Becker.
I'm Madison Shaneman.
And I'm Jocelyn Zerker.
And today our topic is going to be the Monroe Petting Zoo Plan for the Indiana State Envirothon contest. The current issue this year is agricultural soil and water conservation stewardship, and we believe the solution is the Monroe Petting Zoo Plan. It will help make better quality soil and clean the water in Adams County.
So like Devin was saying, the main goal or objective of the Monroe Petting Zoo Plan is to create an educational environment for around Indiana and some of Ohio, and also continue to conserve the soil and the water and make the quality better. So how we'll care for the animals is our agriculture director, Mike Jones, has an animal science class. So during the school day, they'll take neighboring schools and they'll give them tours and they'll take care of the animals during the day. And then our local FFA chapter, they will have every FFA member work a mandatory amount of hours during the school year and during the summer. And then any extra hours they work, we'll put on a point system for the FFA chapter. How we'll educate the public is through a tour that we will give in the barn of the animals. And at each station, there will be animals and then what they produce. So with the steers are mainly used for hamburgers. That's just one of the examples. Llama, this will be at the llama station. They're in the camel family. Soybeans, this would be at a grain station we would have to learn about grains. And then they each get like a sample of bread to kind of show what the grains produce. Some of the meat cuts, like we have an example of pig right here, they would get a sample of sausage or something. And then in a dairy station, there would be something about a milking process with little toy figurines, and we would show them how that works with a toy milker. And then they'll also get a sample of milk with that. And Devin over there will show you how we utilize our area.
So this is a map of this is our 19-acre test plot, which this will be where the petting zoo will take place. Right here, you see the Yellow Creek runs west and north of the test plot, and you see the wildlife habitat. This will serve as a filter system for water going into the Yellow Creek. And right here, you see the barn. If you would, in your binders, please turn to the barn design page tab of your binder. And this is what the barn will look like, and this will be where the animals are held and where all the tours take place, and it'll be one of the main center points of the project. And down here we have cropland and our pasture for our animals to freely graze. And over here we have our town plot, which is 22 acres, and that will be of hay for the animals.
So the different people that are going to be affected by the Monroe Petting Zoo Plan is the entire Monroe community, local businesses such as Zerker Tire, which is the largest Firestone manufacturer in Indiana. They'd be one of our sponsors. Adams Central neighboring schools. So like Jocelyn said, we're going to bring other schools in and teach them about agriculture and about the animals. And we're going to probably do that as far as Fort Wayne and into Ohio. And the test plot workers and ag students, and then the Environmental Education Association of Indiana.
So our location for the proposed Monroe Petting Zoo Plan is in Monroe, Indiana, which is in northeastern Indiana. It will be in what used to be a test plot. And actually in Monroe, the soil is not very good because it used to be a swampland. The petting zoo will be near our school so we can access it easily, and also near our 4-H grounds.
So the solution to the soil and water problems in Monroe and how we can try to conserve these resources, the first part would be the wildlife habitat that we talked about at the upper right corner of our poster. This will serve as a filter strip for water and any fertilizer or chemical runoff that could come from the surrounding fields, or even runoff from the manure that could come from our petting zoo. Another thing that it will do, it'll be a habitat for birds and wildlife in our area. Because of the growing population of Monroe, I know it's not many, but the growing population, it cuts down some forest and the most farmland around Indiana. It'll just create a habitat for them. And throughout the wildlife habitat, there will be walking trails, so the cross country can go through there and the community of Monroe can just have a nice scenic shaded walk during the summer days.
In Adams County, hunting and trapping is very popular, and there's many wildlife that you'll see as you drive around or look around through the woods. Some of them might be like deer, turkey, some smaller animals like raccoon, squirrel, and maybe some birds like ducks and geese.
So the forestry, the types of trees that we're going to have are maples, hickories, and oaks, and the state tree, which is the tulip tree.
The landscaping will mainly consist of flowers and trees. The test plot is owned by the Adams Central FFA, and Adams Central FFA members will donate time and equipment to help make the FFA test plot look pleasing. And we will have the cropland on the map be consisting of beans and corn, and we'll rotate them each year. The town plot will be hay, and we will not spray chemicals on them to act as a photo strip so it doesn't go in the creek.
Alright, so for the livestock, the animals, if you flip to the first tab in your guys' binder that you have there, it should be a budget on the animals. It'll show sort of how much the animals cost and what kind of animals we have. We'll have some larger animals like steer, calf, pigs, goats, sheep, and then also have some smaller animals too. The feed that we'll be giving the animals will come from local grain mills, like Lehman Feed Mill and Monroe Grain. And then their living space, they will be living inside the barn, but then also have access to be able to walk outside of the barn to graze in the pasture.
As you see at the bottom of that budget page, that is the total expense for the Monroe Petting Zoo plan, and it comes out to be $205,000. And those expenses will be helped out with the Honda and Monsanto grants. And the budget area covers multiple areas from the barn to the fences surrounding the pasture, livestock needs, feed, and many other areas of the project.
Alright, so as they said earlier, the soil drainage in Monroe is predominantly poor or somewhat poor, and the apparent material is till. The slope ranges from 0 to 4%. The topsoil is medium to moderate clays, and the subsoil is moderate clays to clays. And that's where our wildlife refuge would come in hand, is so the fields with the crops are no longer being sprayed with chemicals, and it will serve as a filter strips for the homeowners too, so that the chemicals aren't running into the creek. The soil types being used in the Monroe Petting Zoo plan are BCA blount silt loam 0 to 1%, BCB blount silt loam 1 to 4%, PN Poami silty clay 0 to 1%, and HO Hutton muck, which is poorly drained.
The aquatics, the Yellow Creek, as you see on our map, runs north of the test plot, and it spills into the St. Mary's River, which is one of the largest rivers in Adams County. And some organisms that live in the Yellow Creek are catfish, walleye, bluegill, carp, and many microorganisms. And one of our main points is to not pollute the Yellow Creek, and the ways we'll do that is take special manure management procedures. And as you see, our wildlife habitat and our 22-acre hayfield, those will serve as filter strips for the chemicals that are sprayed on the crops before they reach the Yellow Creek.
So the types of trees we're going to have are oak, maple, hickory, honey locust, black willow, and American redbud. They will serve as a photo strip for chemicals and fertilizers to be slowed down before they reach the Yellow Creek. And this will also be donated by Arbor Day and neighboring nurseries to help us start off our process.
So the summary of why you should choose the Monroe Petting Zoo plan is because our budget mainly just covers the cost of the barn, livestock, feed, and things to help us get started. But like Devin noted before, there's also grants that can help us out with these costs, and we do everything we can to find funding sources like local businesses. We have local engineering businesses around us. Try to just find every way possible to help the Monroe Petting Zoo plan get started. So in a few years, we hope to be self-sufficient and fend by ourselves.
So there's a big interrelationship between the environment, the wildlife, and the Monroe community. There's a symbiotic relationship, meaning they all go hand in hand. The Monroe community, either in a bad way or a good way, contributes to the environment, either by polluting it or by picking up trash. And the environment is where the wildlife lives, so if the environment is bad, then the wildlife will have no choice but to move.
The Monroe community mostly is affected because some of the people around us, like Devin will show you on the map, beside the pasture, there's a fire station and a doctor's office right there. So some neighboring nurseries, they'll donate coniferous trees, and we'll try to plant them along the edge of the road, try to create a buffer. And we kept the cropland closest to the residential area at the bottom, so we can try to keep that mostly filtered out from our petting zoo. So The social and cultural issues aren't such a big a thing because agriculture is used to in our area, but we try to keep that to the minimum.
So our references are the NRCS Web Soil Survey, Natural Resources Conservation Service, Natural Resources Conservation Service, Benjamin Zerker, and he's a resource management specialist, and he helped give us an insight on a variety of agriculture topics, and he helped us to solve the minor flaws of our Monroe Petting Zoo plan.
So we hope that the Monroe Petting Zoo plan can create a stable environment for our domesticated farm animals, help create the population of wild animals become bigger, and just all around educate the public about agriculture.
And finally, if you flip to the back of your binder, there will be 2 pamphlets there. They'll kind of show some pictures and talk about a little bit how our FFA Petting Zoo will work. Thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to come listen to our presentation. I hope you'll be able to invest in our Monroe Petting Zoo plan.
Can you talk a little bit about the cropland, your rotation? Are you doing it conventionally? Are you doing it conservationally? And then what are you doing with the corn and soybean when it's...
So with our cropland, we will have soybeans and corn, and we will rotate through that. And what we'll do with that is we'll take it to our local grain elevator, and we will sell that for a profit to help go back towards maintaining the barn and animal needs and many other things.
Have you thought about what kind of tillage management you're going to put on there? No-till or tilling?
Kind of things that we do. The school owns the test plot, so the agriculture owned by Mike Jones, he'll kind of supervise the test plots like they do if the members donate their time. But I think Connor has more information too.
Yeah, just going no-till would probably be the best, and then having some cover crops also while we have like the corn and the beans up would be the main plan.
How are you going to keep the manure out of the creek that's
So-
on the north side of your property?
So we will have what is called a manure pit, and it'll have a 6-inch concrete slab of 40 by 40 with 4-inch concreted walls around it. And underneath the barn will be a pit where all the manure falls to, and that manure will flow to the concreted pit where we keep our manure in storage, and the concrete will help prevent leaks. And then there will be an auger and the manure pit that will put the manure into a semi-trailer of a professionally managed waste deliverer, and they will professionally get rid of the manure without any spills.